Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum. This is Arif. In this video, we are going to see how we can run the projects implemented without DLLs by using DLLs first in C++ and then in C sharp. And in order to do that, we are going to first understand the projects implemented without using the DLLs, and then we are going to convert those projects into the projects which are going to use the DLLs. So this is a C++ program first, in which in this source file we have a main function. In this main function we are going to read out the contents of our input file, and we are going to store those contents into an output file. And here we have defined a list named elements, and after that we are going to use that list inside these three functions which we are calling. So the first function is going to pull out the contents of our input file, the second function is going to display those contents onto the console window, and the third one is going to store those contents into an output file. So this is our first file, and these three functions we are calling actually on the instances of our class which we have defined named header, and this header class we have defined here. So this is the .h file, so notice these lines with the way we have defined, and this is the third line. And inside this header class we are making the declarations of our three functions, and then we are making them public because we want to use them inside our main function, and so that we can access those in our main function. So this is our header file, and this is our second .cpp file, and in this file we are going to define those three functions on the instances of our header class. So this is the way we have defined the first function, which is pulling out the contents of our input file. This is the second function which is going to display those contents onto the console window, and this is our third function. So this is going to store those contents into an output file. So once we have to define these functions inside a class, then we have to make those functions as static, and then we have to call those functions on the instance of our class. So this is the complete program. This is the input file, and now let's build and run this program to see. So this is our two input file lines, and now we are going to implement this program using a project which is going to create the DLLs. So now let's create a new project. So under this C++ Windows desktop, we are going to select this one, Windows desktop wizard. Here we can change the name of our project. So we can say create DLL. So in this project we are going to create the DLLs which are going to work as the framework or the library to be used in an application project. Now let's click OK, and in this new window we are going to select actually this DLL option, and after that we are going to select this empty project. So now on this project, let's first add a header file. So keep this name like this and click add. Now let's go to our header file. So this is actually the implementation of the project without the DLL. So once we are going to create a project which is going to use the DLL files, so then we can't use this code actually. So we have to do some modifications in our program, and instead of declaring the three functions like this, we have to declare the three functions like this, and also we have to skip this line and include these lines. So these are the modifications which we are going to use in our header file. So instead of this line, now we are saying define guard tokens like this. So this is to export the DLL, and else we are going to say that if you want to import the DLLs, so this is the definition of our code line. And after that we are going to use this variable after the static keyword like this on our three functions. So let's actually build the program here first. So this is the project running without the use of the DLLs, a simple project without DLLs. So we can see it is working. So here actually we don't need this thing, so we can use these three code lines, but in the case of DLL we have to modify our header files like this. So now let's copy and paste it here. So now we have added the header file. Now we have to include a .cpp file, and again we are going to add go here and new item, and then now we are going to add this .cpp file, and let's add this. So now let's go to our implementation of the project without using DLLs, and let's copy that file where we have defined all the functions which we have declared in our header file. So these are the function definitions. So copy these, come here and paste. And now let's build this program. So this is actually, we have defined a DLL library or DLL framework which we can use in the application projects which are going to test these DLLs or use these DLLs. So now we have to define actually a new project in which we are going to use this DLL library or the DLL framework which we have implemented now. So we have to go to file, new project, and after that Windows desktop application. And here is our Windows console application. So we have to select this. And now let's change this to use DLL, we can type it, or the test DLL. And here in this solution window, actually, since we are going to add this project to our DLL project solution, so this is the application project, so we are going to add this to the DLL project. So by selecting this add to solution, we can add this. And now let's click OK. So now we have actually had two projects under this project, create DLL, and after that there is use DLL. So now actually let's go to our project implementation without DLLs and get this main function. This files all contents we have to copy, and we have to come here, and in our second project which is going to test those DLLs, we have to use this file, use DLL. Here it is written main program, so here we can type our actually main program. So let's paste that main program which we already have. So now we can see here our some lines which are showing some errors, so we have to remove these errors so that we can successfully run this project. So in order to do that, first thing is we have to go to this references, and we have to select add reference, and then we can see under projects our create DLL option. So we have to this way add the framework to our test project or the application project. And now the second thing which we are going to need to do is we have to go here on the second project properties, under the C++ option, general, under the additional include directories we have to select edit, and we have to browse to the location of our header file. So right now we are in the use DLL, so we have to go back, and this is our create DLL. And actually the header file we can see, so this is our create DLL project in the folders. So at this location create DLL, so here is our header file. So if we are going to go back here, So here would be our header file. So this folder we are going to select to add that header file of our framework to our application project. Click OK, click apply and OK. So now we can see that there was a red line here which got removed. So now our the header file is added to our application project. That's why. So now let's build both projects. Build got succeeded. And now let's run this project actually. We are going to see this message. So this is saying here is not a valid application. So let's remove this error. So in order to do that, we are going to come here and we are going to set this second application project as the started project, set as started project. So we are going to click here. So now our project is actually running fine, but we can't see our output because we forgot to do one thing, and that one thing is we have to come here. We have to pick up our input file which we have not given yet to our program, and we have to go to our folder in which we have used DLL, not this create DLL one but the use DLL. So here we are going to give our program our input file. So now let's see what happens. So we can see our input file, output, the input file and its output is there. So we can actually add our input file like this as well. We can go here, we can click add existing item. Although the program is running without even adding our input file, but we can always add like this. So now it got added. So our program is working fine. So this is the project which is actually making a DLL file which is called the framework projects, and this is the second project which is going to use that framework project, and this is the application project. And if we want to see our DLL file, so we have to go here. Actually the DLL file is somewhere here. So this is the DLL file which we have created and we are using in this project. So let's see how now in C# we can do the same thing. So this is a C# program. So this is the project where we are not using the DLL option. So this is the project without using the DLLs. This is the simple project option which we usually use to run our C# programs without DLLs. So this is the first file.cs, and in this we have our main program. So in main function we are going to take out the contents of our input file and store those into an output file. After that, we have defined a list named elements, and this list we are going to use here inside these three functions which we are calling on our class instance. And this is the first function which is going to take out the contents of our input file, show those contents into the console window. This is second function, and this is the third function which is going to store those contents into an output file. So these are the three functions which we are calling, and here we are giving the output file a different name compared to the input file. So this is our first.cs file, and this is our second.cs file where we are actually defining those three functions. So we can see this is the first function we have defined with the static keyword and the public keyword, because we are going to use these functions inside our main program here. This is the second function which is going to display the contents of our input file which we are getting from here using this first function definition, and this is the third function which is going to store those contents into an output file. So this is our complete program using two files, and this is our input file. And let's build around this program so that we can see its behavior by running. So we are going to see those contents onto the console window using the second function. So now let's see how we can actually implement this program by using a DLL implementation in C Sharp. So let's create a new project. And here under this C Sharp Windows Classic Desktop, we have to select this option, class library. And here we have to give the name of our create DLL. So this is going to be our framework. So this is the project which we have created. Now let's go to our implementation where we have implemented this program. And copy this contents where we have of our class header where we have defined the three functions. Come here. So now actually we have to make a change here because we want to use these three functions from the header class in our application program. Actually, let's keep it like this first, the way it is. So in this C sharp, actually, in order to, we have to include just another library or a collection for the stream reader and stream writer. So let's build this program. So now this is our framework project which is ready, which has a DLL, and that DLL we are going to test or use in an application program or project. So let's create an application project. Same option, instead of class library we are going to select now the console application, and in the console application we can actually change its name to use DLL, and add to solution option we are going to select again because we are going to use this application program to our framework program first project. So now this is our first project, this is our second project, the application project. Now let's come here and let's copy the contents of our all main function. Into our main function here. So now we are going to see again that same error. So we have to actually include this collection or the library for the stream reader and stream writer. So now we can see on our header there is an error, so we have to remove that error. So now let's go here first to our second project name, and on the references we are going to add our reference, and this is our framework project option, and this is the option we are going to add to our application project. And we can see again the header error here. So let's go here, second project's properties. Actually we don't need to go here, actually in the case of the C# program. So this is the create DLL, so we have to add another line. So this namespace name we are going to add in our application project like this. And after that we have a class header, so we have to include this like this class inside our application project. So this is the public keyword, so we have included this keyword, and now we see we have removed these errors. So now let's build and run this program. So the build got succeeded. So now let's start a project, and we are going to see this error, the executable project as the startup project. So we have to come here and we have to set this second project as, this is the option, set as startup project, and now build and run this program. So we are not seeing any output because we forgot to add again our input file to our project. So this is the input file which we have to give, copy, and we have to come here inside use DLL, and here we have to actually paste this input file, and after that we have to come here to our second project, and we are going to select add existing item, and here if we are going to go to the all files option, we are going to see our input file option, and we are going to add this to our project, the application project. Now here is the file which got added to our second project, application project. Copy if newer, and now let's build and run this program. So we can see our output onto the console window. So this is the way we can implement a C# project now using the DLL. And in this solution explorer window, we can see to this project two projects are there. One is create DLL, and then we have added to the same project use DLL. This is the framework or the library, and this is the application project. So this is the location where our DLL file got created. So thank you guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Have fun.